All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Frankly Fantasy Football Podcast. We are your hosts, Frankie and Johnny. Welcome, everybody. Frankie, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Johnny. How are you, good sir?
I'm doing great, guys. We're here for a mock draft Monday bonus episode. Bonus. That's right. Monday's here, guys. During the preseason, we're going to be doing some mock drafts for you, laying out just some, putting our knowledge here into practical application, see how some of these mocks shake out, see how we're doing here, how Frankie and I are both, applying some of the advice we're giving you. You can see exactly how we are developing teams here. But let's get right into it here, my friend. Let me share my screen. I want to shout out Sleeper, guys. Sleeper is the app we use. I think it is just
awesome,
far and above the best platform to do your drafts and to do your mocks. So I highly, highly recommend Sleeper. Future advertiser, I hope, please. Shout out to Sleeper. Give us a call, guys. franklyfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Sleeper, email us. Let's go. All right, here we go. I'm going to be drafting from the number 3 spot. We wanted to give you an idea what that looked like here. Frankie's going to be drafting from the, what are you, Frankie? Number 8? Number 9 spot. So we'll see what that looks like. Those are a little more challenging spots at 7, 8, 9 spot. Not quite as easy to plan for. But let's get right after it here. Let's go ahead. Hopefully everything works perfectly. I'm going to start the mock draft. Look at that. Boom. There we go. All right. First 2 picks here, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. That puts Johnny on the clock. Well, guys, this is a pretty easy one for me. I've actually got Christian McCaffrey as my number 1 running back in that top 3. I don't think you can go wrong with Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Christian McCaffrey. Those are really the top 3 spots. I've actually got McCaffrey at I don't mind taking him 1 overall. I don't mind taking him behind JJ. With the Joe Burrow news, I'm not quite as thrilled about jumping on Jamar Chase in the top 3. So I like the fact that I don't have to make that decision. So it's pretty easy for me. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey. Okay. Boom. We got Austin Eckler. We get Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Bijan Robinson right before you. You didn't have to make that decision, man. I know we talk a lot about Bijan on the episode coming up here in a few days. Where are you going here, Frankie? What's your thought process, man?
It's easy for me here, guys. It's what we talked about in the last episode, or what we've been preaching actually since this new year began. I'm going with Nick Chubb, guys. Just the way he's going to be utilized here in this new Browns offense. There's nobody behind him. I love getting my RB1 locked and loaded with Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I think it's the safest running back to take in the first round. It really is, man. All right, after Nick Chubb, we had A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor on the turn. Wow, look at that risky team at the turn there, man. Saquon and Jonathan Taylor. No thanks, man. No thanks. That's a little too risky for me. Amon-Ra St. Brown making an appearance right there, and then Josh Jacobs. Hey, you don't have to worry about the guys who were pissed off with their contracts with Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. You didn't have to make that decision here, Frank. So where are you going?
I'm going to do something that's really awesome, guys. Again, 12 team, half PPR. For me in this situation, I love where I'm at. There's one running back that I'm going to go back to back on running backs here, and I'm going to load it up with pure workhorse, crazy guys. I'm going with Derrick Henry here, man. I'm locked and loaded. Nick Chubb with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, man. Going with the king. I mean, how can you not do that? I mean, really, Jesus, man, that's so beautiful. Right after Derrick Henry, you had CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Tony Pollard before me. Yeah, I do. Tony Pollard. I like Tony Pollard this year. All right. So where am I going here, man? I mean, this is where things get a little more difficult.
Yeah.
I do want to get a receiver that I really like to pair up with Christian McCaffrey. This is a half PPR, 12 team, 2 running back, 2 receiver, and a flex. I'm going to try to go with a balanced team here, Frank. I think.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going with my boy. I know he's got a little ankle tweak here, but I'm going with my boy Garrett Wilson, man. I'm telling you, I know you're drafting him at his ceiling.
Yep.
I don't love doing that. However, I think he's going to return the value of where he's being drafted with Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. I love me some Garrett Wilson, man. All right, so right after that, Jalen Hurts.
Second round, John.
Jalen Hurts, second round. Look at that. Wow. Jalen Waddle. Ramondre Stevenson, Mark Andrews early in the third round. Now, Mark Andrews, I love in the third round.
Yeah.
I don't love him that early in the third. I love him more around your spot. But you're in the third round and you love Mark Andrews. You got to take him when you're on a turn like that. Yeah. All right. So this brings it to me now. I'm looking at guys that I really like here. There's guys like T. Higgins and Chris Olave, DK Metcalf potentially in receiver. Running backs, I'm looking at Breece Hall, Najee Harris, Travis Etienne. Breece Hall, obviously, I don't want to do that. He's not going to be playing in the beginning of the season. He'll miss a game or two, it looks like, for sure. The talks with Dalvin Cook signing, they seem to be real. Not only that, I don't want to go too all in that early on the Jets, already having Garrett Wilson.
Sure.
Let me tell you what I'm going to do here, Frankie. I took this guy last year. He burned me a little bit. And I know people are going to have a bad taste in their mouth about him, but I'm going to go with Najee Harris. I really like him this year. I think he's going to have a big comeback compared to what he had last year. I think you're going to be able to get him here. Him dropping, first of all, I took him, I think, in the first round.
Yeah, you had
to take him in the third round. I think he's super, super safe. The volume's there. They've greatly increased their offensive line. He had a Liz Frank injury. So his performance last year, you could tell. I mean, that was the deal. If they can, with the improvement of the offensive line, if they can get him back to the passing work that he had with Ben Roethlisberger,
oh man,
I think he's going to be a steal in the draft in the third round right there. So that I'm going with Najee Harris to just give me some more volume, give me a safe running back to pair up with the upside with Christian McCaffrey and Garrett Wilson.
Love it, man.
There you go. Chris Olave next. T. Higgins, the guys I was just talking about. Travis Etienne, Devonta Smith, and Breece Hall. These guys are all taking all the risky guys right in front of you, so you don't even have to make those difficult decisions. All right, where's your head, Frank?
So, guys, what I'm looking at right now is, I have Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry on my team, and I could go receiver here to where you have DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, D-Hop, Terry McLaurin there. Or I could go running back looking at Kenneth Walker, Gibbs, Aaron Jones, Dobbins, Sanders. Again, I want to see how this plays out, John. I really do. Having Nick Chubb, having Derrick Henry, could go receiver, but I'm not. I'm going to get a stable of running backs, baby. And I want to go fucking nuts. All right. So I'm now deciding between Kenneth Walker, Gibbs, and Aaron Jones. That's really tough. They all have really exciting things. They all have things that, are a little bit nerve wracking. Kenneth Walker has the backup. Gibbs is a rookie, right? And Aaron Jones, right? With AJ Dillon, not really sure what the offense is going to be. I'll tell you what, man. In this pick, I'm going to go with something. I want to just see how this works out. I'm going to go with Gibbs, Jahmyr Gibbs, in half PPR. I love this rookie, love the position. I know what I would be getting with Kenneth Walker. I know what I'll be getting with Aaron Jones. I'm using this as a third running back. I'm locking it in.
I love that. And I was hoping you were going to go there. We're going to be talking about Jahmyr Gibbs a lot on our episode that drops Wednesday here, but I love that. This is a half PPR. You've got two bruising motherfuckers out there with Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry, and then you throw in a guy who might as well be looked at as a receiver, really. I mean, that's where his value is going to come. Dude, I love it, man. I'm interested to see if you're going to be able to piece together some good receivers. Yeah. But so far, that is a super strong running back room, man.
It's stable.
Yes.
So, John, right now, man, I'm looking at, so after that, I mean, it was pretty crazy. It went DK, Debo, Joe Mixon, Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson.
Quarterback run. Good. Let it happen here. This is when I'm getting cozy. I'm sitting back. Again, I could go running back, continue to improve this stable. I could go Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, Miles Sanders, but I'm not. And here I'm going to start piecing together receivers. So here I'm looking at Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, D-Hop, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, and I'm not taking any of them.
I'll tell you who I'm taking. And it's a guy I've been high on this shit, John, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and that of Calvin Ridley as my receiver one.
Look at the balls on you, Frankie. You got balls the size of grapefruits, man. Dude, that's very ballsy. Now, we're going to be getting into Calvin Ridley. I'm not going to get into it too much now. He'll be on our new faces and new places here next week. But, dude, talk about the ultimate high risk, high reward. He's your wide receiver one. I mean, your team so far is panning out to, if Calvin Ridley gets back to form, your team looks awesome. If he doesn't, it's going to be a little scary for him, man. He's going to be trading.
Yeah, that stable bit.
Oh, you act like you're not going to be trading anyway, you psychopath. You're crazy. All right, then we had TJ Hawkinson, D-Hop, what are we? Kenneth Walker, Amari Cooper, J.K. Dobbins. And now Johnny's on the clock. I've got Christian McCaffrey, Garrett Wilson, and Najee Harris on my team here. You know, really, and let me take a look at quarterbacks, because this is where it could be interesting if you're looking at getting one of those high guys. Justin Herbert just signed a massive deal. I love him this year. Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson. Way too early in my mind for those guys. Justin Herbert would be the only one I'd consider here. Running backs, Aaron Jones, Miles Sanders, Dameon Pierce. Interesting. I think I'm going to go receiver here, really. No tight ends for me. I'm not jumping on Kittle or Pitts yet in the fourth. If I can get Kyle Pitts in the fifth, I may consider that for sure. Receivers here, let me look. I do love... I'm going with Keenan Allen here, man. He just does it year in, year out with Justin Herbert, just signing a deal, feeling good, getting some other weapons there in offense. Everybody's healthy. Kellen Moore coming into as the OC. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen to help shore up give me a little stability with the Garrett Wilson pick at wide receiver. Okay. Terry McLaurin, Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce, and Miles Sanders taken right in front of me. Well, I did say I could look at Kyle Pitts there, but you know what I'm going to do here, Frankie? I love me some stacks, man. And I was kind of hoping this fell to me. I talked about Justin Herbert. I'm going to pair him up with Keenan Allen. I'm going to have me a beautiful stack. I'm loving the way this team is shaping up right now. Give me Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen together, baby. All right, we have Kittle taken. We have DJ Moore. We have Jerry Jeudy, Cam Akers, Christian Watson, who we're going to be talking about with a would you rather, just going right in front of you, Frank. So where are you going here, buddy? What's your thought process?
Yeah, guys. So I could definitely be looking to shore up that receiver room a bit. I'm looking at Drake London, Godwin, Mike Williams, Michael Pittman Jr. We have Marquise Brown, Tyler Lockett. Could also look to do another running back, right? We could do something crazy and do a James Conner, DeAndre Swift, Alexander Madison, right? Or I could look at quarterback here. I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence and Dak Prescott and that of Deshaun Watson. And what's interesting, knowing that the guys above, after me now have already taken quarterbacks, I don't need to rush a quarterback pick here, guys. So that's a good strategy. When you start understanding what the teams are taking behind you, you can now say, okay, hey, I don't need to really reach for a quarterback that I want, even though I really want a quarterback right now that's on the board. I still want to bolster that running back or receiving room. And so for me, man, I'm actually going to do something crazy, guys. I'm crazy today. I don't know what's happening, John.
That's weird.
I'm going to go Dalvin Cook here at running back. And I'll tell you why. Knowing that my team, I am going to have 4 running backs and I have a really risky receiver. I now bolstered the ability for trade bait for one of these running backs. Now, if Dalvin Cook comes back, signs with the Jets, or it's Miami, and I can now maybe trade him or trade Derrick Henry or trade a Gibbs to then get a receiver 1, receiver 2, or package together something like that. That is the thought process behind a pick like that.
All right, guys. Now, I want everyone to listen for a second here. Okay, you look at Frankie's draft strategy. I highly do not recommend you to do this. Now, you have to be an active owner if you're going to draft like this. Frankie knows that first of all, Frankie's a psychopath. As soon as he drafts, he's immediately trying to make trades, before the team's even entered into the platform. But Frankie knows that if he's got a stable of running backs, he's going to make trade offers. He's going to be able to bolster his receiver room. I like the pick, but you're also planning on getting work done. You're going to be doing some work. You're going to be trying to make trades. You're going to have to, because your wide receiver room is going to be a little bit scary based on what you've done so far.
It is.
So if you're not comfortable doing that, if you don't think that you're going to be able to, turn around a guy and turn him into another wide receiver, don't draft like that. But if you're into it, you got a league that you can trade with, know your league mates before you make strategies like this. If you're in a league where they don't trade very much or it's hard to put them together, draft a more balanced team because you're going to have to work with it. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Frank.
No, please.
All right. After Frankie took Dalvin Cook, we had Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Chris Godwin, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Pittman, and James Conner. All right, Frank, now what are you looking at? You going to punt on receiver completely or what, man? You getting a little scary in that receiver room.
I'll tell you what, it is scary in the receiver room, but here's where there's a guy on the board, John. I'm looking at Mike Williams, Marquise Brown, Tyler Lockett, Christian Kirk, Mike Evans, Deontay Johnson. Again, could go running back, out of the question now here. I have a beautiful stable. I could go quarterback, and there's a quarterback on the board that I am in love with. Here's the problem, though. When you go with what I did here, to John's point, I have 4 running backs and 1 receiver. I have to go receiver here. I wouldn't if this guy wasn't on the board, as crazy as that sounds. But I'm going to go Mike Williams. I think that's a phenomenal receiver 2 at this point in time, to where it helps me feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that he's still injury prone. But again, now that he's healthy starting out the year, you have a healthy Justin Herbert, right? I really like this offense. So I'm locking in Mike Williams as my receiver 2.
I like that. And I know exactly what you were looking at and what you were thinking too. And here's looking at the strategy after the fact, guys. So you can kind of break it down after the fact. He took Dalvin Cook there in the 5th round.
5th round.
As his 4th running back because he's a psychopath. Now, one thing you could look at, and you look back at this and say, he could have shored up his receiver room a little bit if he wanted to play a little safer, and he could have gone a Drake London or a Mike Williams at that point. And then he could have come into this round and taken Trevor Lawrence. That's what he was looking at. Yes, exactly. Who we know is going to take a step forward this year. Everybody's high on him, and it would have stacked him with Calvin Ridley.
That's right.
I like that a little better. I love the strategy of grabbing the Dalvin Cook. I know exactly why you're doing that. I personally would have taken probably Mike Williams in that spot and then come back with Trevor Lawrence, had the quarterback and receiver stack, and had 2 solid receivers on there. But I love it, Frankie. Great job. It shows us exactly what we need to do, and it gives people an idea of what they can do in retrospect. All right, right after Mike Williams there, Alexander Madison, DeAndre Swift, Darren Waller, who's now on the Giants. Very interesting. Isaiah Pacheco, Marquise Hollywood Brown. All right, I'm on the clock here. And just looking at my team, I've got Christian McCaffrey and Najee Harris as running backs. Justin Herbert is my quarterback, stacked with Keenan Allen and Garrett Wilson. So very balanced team. I can really kind of do anything I want at this point. And I'm just going to look and see what the best value of running back, receiver, tight end, Dallas Goedert, Evan Ingram. At this point, I kind of punt on tight end. I'm not taking a middle round guy this early. I'll take it later in the draft. So let's look at running backs and receivers here. Running backs, Javonte Williams, Rashad White that we talked about. Kamara, I think, is slipping down drafts and becoming a really good value of where he's going. David Montgomery, very interesting as well in Detroit. Receivers, Tyler Lockett, Christian Kirk, Mike Evans. I'm going to tell you what, man, I see a guy that I can't see any other names that I'd want to take other than this guy in this spot. I think he's a huge value. He's not on the pup. He seems to be healthy. It looks like he's going to play week 1. I'm going with Javonte Williams, man. Yeah. I think his upside, and to be able to get him in round 6. This is round 6.
Back half
all
of 6.
Day. Back half of 6 all day long. I'm not even thinking too much about this, man. That's crazy. All right, let's go again here, baby. After I took Javonte, Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett, Trevor Lawrence, and Alvin Kamara. So now I'm trying to look at the balance here. I'm looking at receivers. Mike Evans, Deontay Johnson. Don't really want to go with Deontay Johnson. I've got Najee already on my team. Don't want to go too high in there. Some other guys that are questionable and young with Jackson Smith and Jigma, Traylon Burks, Pickens, Addison, a lot of rookies on the board right now, man. It kind of makes me nervous, though. Mike Evans makes me nervous, too. I don't love the position for any of these receivers at the moment, unfortunately. I think this is where, based on the receivers and the running backs out there right now, I am going to look at a tight end. This is where you have to shift. You got to stay water. I literally just said the opposite thing a minute ago, and now I'm looking at it. It's just based on the value. Looking at this, I am going to go with Dallas Goedert. I think he's got a huge opportunity connected to Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to be very, very good. I'm going to go ahead and shore that up now so I don't have to play that goddamn tight end game later on. All right, right afterwards, Dak Prescott, Mike Evans, Deontay Johnson, Deshaun Watson, and Tua go right in front of you there, man. Okay. What do you think you're doing here, Frank?
Yeah, so this is tough, guys, because I didn't go Trevor Lawrence there, right? That is the last big tier of running back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just waiting. I am sitting. I'm not even thinking about a quarterback until very, very late. It doesn't matter with the value that it is. Put Kirk Cousins in there, put Derek Carr in there, who else is still available? Aaron Rodgers, Anthony Richardson. They're all in that same little bucket to me, and I know they're going to be there. So guys, I'm looking at receiver. I need receiver. I need to continue bolstering receiver at this point in time. And there's actually a few guys that I kind of like. It's not going to be a rookie here because of the way my team is constructed. I need somebody that I know is going to have a decent floor. So therefore, I can't go for the ceiling guy right now. So who I'm looking at is Jackson Smith and Jigba, Traylon Burks. We got George Pickens, Addison, Jahan Dotson, and then Kadarius Toney, Brandon Cooks. There's a guy on here that's sticking out to me, and I hate drafting a fucking Steeler, but I'm doing it here, and I'm taking George Pickens. I think his floor in that offense is huge. I think his upside is also there enough to be my receiver 3 at this point in time. So, John, that's why I'm locking him in.
All right. Interesting. I like that. Right after George Pickens, Rashad White, Jackson Smith and Jigba, David Montgomery, Traylon Burks, A.J. Dillon, and Jordan Addison right in front of you. Now you're coming right back around, Frank. You still looking at receivers here? You're going to have to pile up some guys, right?
I tell you what, I am going to have to pile up some guys. That I'm going receiver here again. And now is when I kind of want to take a shot. I really want to take, there's right now I can afford to have an upside in a receiver pick, knowing that I have Pickens, knowing that I have Mike Williams, Calvin Ridley, super high risk, super high reward. So I almost want to go another high reward guy. And I'm going to take a guy, John, this is why you're going to love this pick. I'm going with Quentin Johnston. The reason being is because I have Mike Williams. If Mike Williams or Keenan Allen get hurt, I am no longer shitting down my pants. I have the guy that's stepping in. So that's why, guys, it's so important to pay attention to the rookie reviews, to dive in and understand what the dynamic is, as well as, John, you mentioned it with the OC now having run 3 receiver sets more often than not. It makes me feel really comfortable with now that Mike Williams pick.
You son of a bitch. I've got Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert. I was definitely going to be taking Quentin Johnston, man. Based on the last episode we had, we both love this guy. Yeah. I love the shout out to Quentin Johnston, man. But yeah, that's a great pick. I mean, with Mike Williams, having him in there, that's ensuring that you're at least getting that passing attack for you. You've got a spot for one of those 2 Los Angeles receivers. So that's a great pick, man. All right. Right after Quentin Johnston, James Cook, Brandon Cooks, Brian Robinson, Pat Firemouth, and Jahan Dotson. Did I hear you say Jahan Dotson?
Jahan?
Is he Swedish? Jahan.
Jahan.
Es gegeben, kan ihr gefreugen?
There you go. Yeah, you can do it. Sounds good. I don't even know what you're saying.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. I'm on the clock now. We're looking at round 8. I'm at the 8-10 spot here. My team is Justin Herbert, Christian McCaffrey and Najee Harris and Javonte Williams. I love that trio of running backs. Huge floors, huge upsides. Can't complain there. Garrett Wilson and Keenan Allen as receiver. Dallas Goedert as a tight end. I really need to, this is a half-point PPR, so I really need to keep running on receiver here. Looking at these receivers, there's some risky guys left in here, man. Kadarius Toney, Gabe Davis, Michael Thomas.
All from Grace.
Juju Smith-Schuster, Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton. Yeah, these guys really do kind of scare me. But, I'm in a position to where I can take some upside here. I'm not looking for, hoping Michael Thomas gets back to any semblance of a football player. I'm not doing that. Juju, it's just boring to me. He's on a new team in New England. He was okay, last year with Patrick Mahomes, but that was with Patrick Mahomes. If you're only okay with the best quarterback that we've seen for a long time, yeah. No, I'm taking a shot here, Frank. And I'm going to go with a rookie that we're going to be talking about this week, buddy. I'm going with Zay Flowers. I think when talent meets opportunity, I think he's got a great opportunity. We've been waiting for a receiver to show up in Baltimore for a very long time. You've got Lamar healthy. I don't see much competition there. After Mark Andrews, I really do think Zay Flowers, come midseason, is going to be the number one receiver target for Lamar Jackson. Zay Flowers, welcome to my team, baby. All right, then Gabe Davis, Kadarius Toney, Evan Ingram, and Jamal Williams were taken. So now I can get a little creative. I can just see, who on the team I can build some depth with. Looking at Antonio Gibson, Zach Charbonnet, Rashad Penny, Samaje Perine, Herbert as running backs. The receivers, I'm not in love with really at all. There's guys that I'd like to take shots on later, so I'm kind of going to punt there for a round or two. Let's look at some of these running backs. Who I really like, and I think this guy's going way too low in drafts, and I know why. There's a lot of questions. He's a new face in a new place. He's going to be sharing the backfield, but I'm sorry, he's going to have so much opportunity. I'm going with Rashad Penny, who's now with the Philadelphia Eagles. Rashad Penny, DeAndre Swift, both on that team. DeAndre Swift just can't stay on the football field. Neither can Rashad Penny. So it is, again, my fourth running back. That's why I love taking him there. I don't need to play him.
I'll trade you a running back.
I will end up probably trading in this league. If it was real, I'd be trading with Frankie, and no question about it. But yeah, I'm going to go with Rashad Penny here. When he does play, he's electric. He's electric when he does play. And being on this team, he's going to have so many opportunities. Who do you think is going to be the goal line guy in Philadelphia? Other than Jalen Hurts, obviously. But I think they're going to run him a little less this year. I think they're going to lean on these two running backs, and that's why they picked them both up. All right, after Rashad Penny, Antonio Gibson, Zach Charbonnet, Michael Thomas, David Njoku, Anthony Richardson taken in round 9 right there. Look at that. Okay. I like that move. And what did that guy do? Team 8. It's exactly what I said I would do in the rookie review. Look at that. He drafted Tua. He came back 2 rounds later and took Anthony Richardson. My God, that's exactly what I said. Way to go, sleeper AI. Yeah. All right, Frankie, you're on the clock here, man. All right. Let's see what your team looks like. Lay it down. See how you did here. So far.
Guys. So right now I have Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry. I have Calvin Ridley, Mike Williams. I also have Jahmyr Gibbs, Dalvin Cook, George Pickens, Quentin Johnston. So I'm really liking where my team's heading, again, from the fact of I have a lot of trade value on my team. So I'm feeling really good right now. And there's definitely, from a quarterback situation, guys, there's certainly still, in my opinion, quite a few good quarterbacks on the board. So I'm not going to stress. I'm not tripping out. This is where patience is key. Once you get past this point, don't freak out.
Stay calm and draft on, baby.
Exactly. So I'm actually going to look to either another running back or receiver or tight end. Now, from a tight end perspective, I did have Njoku. That's who I was targeting at this next pick. He just went right before me. So there's Dalton Schultz, there's Kincaid, there's Kmet, there's Okwonkwo, Chig, right, who's the tight end for the Tennessee Titans. all of those are just kind of in the same boat for me. So I don't need to trip again. So I'm going to go back to the well at either running back or receiver. And right now at running back, it looks like there's Saquon P. Ryan, Khalil Herbert, Damian Harris, Jerick McKinnon, or I could go receiver, go Cortland Sutton, Bateman, Jamison Williams, Elijah Moore. I'll tell you what, there's one guy on here that I do like, and it's actually going back to the well at running back. And I am going to look. There's two, and I'm really torn as I'm talking. It's between Saquon P. Ryan and Khalil Herbert. And I say that because Saquon P. Ryan's going to be that pass catching guy. Khalil Herbert's vying for that starting position. I'm going to lock in that of Khalil Herbert because I think he already has the starting position. Foreman as my running back 5. If he does pop off, trade bait all day long.
Yeah, I love Khalil Herbert, man. I think he's being slept on. I think he's going way too late in drafts. He's a starting running back for the Chicago Bears. They're going to be a run first team. They were last year with Justin Herbert there. I know he's stealing a lot of the touchdowns, and that's okay. That happens. But listen, man, they're going to give Khalil Herbert the opportunity. They're going to see if what he's got. Can he take the load? And I think at least early on in the season, yeah, I think he's going to. And with the running back room you've got, you may never start Khalil Herbert with this team. But you know what? Come week 2, after he's had 2 very solid games, you're going to trade his ass to somebody. Sell him high, baby. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I normally don't recommend people to draft people with the intention of trading. But if you're, on that next level of fantasy football like Frankie is, then absolutely, don't be afraid to do that. I love it, man. Great job there. Khalil Herbert was taken by Frankie, and then Juju Smith-Schuster, Samaje P. Ryan, Elijah Moore, Devon A-Chain, the A-Chain, Dalton Schultz, and Aaron Rodgers. Frankie, you're on the clock. We've got 3 picks left. We're not doing kickers and defenses here because fuck that. But what are you thinking here, man? You got 3 picks left. You need a tight end. You need a quarterback.
Yeah.
And then potentially a flyer. So what are you thinking here now?
Guys, I'm going to go tight end here. This is where there's enough value on the tight end board. There's one guy I'm definitely targeting, and it's because he got paid a 4-year, $32 million deal. And trust me, you're not getting paid that if you're not going to get targeted. And that means for me, I'm looking at Cole Kmet, a nice cozy safety blanket for that of Justin Fields. I think there's a lot of upside here. Again, you are not paying that dollar to somebody if he's not going to be a red zone target. So for that reason, John, I'll take Cole Kmet. And then guys, I'll tell you what, I'll do the tight end carousel. I'll do the start, best free agent pickup, things of that nature. So now I'm going to be shitting myself a little bit with quarterback, but there's still a guy on the board I still like.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to stream. You're going to be streaming most likely quarterback and tight end. And you know what? I typically do that almost every single year and every single draft. Don't be afraid to do that. And, we're going to give you advice all year long, guys, about streaming options for, quarterback and tight end. So, stay tuned for that. We'll help you out there. But I like the move, man. All right. After that went Cortland Sutton, Jamison Williams, Rashad Bateman, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, little quarterback run there. I'm good on quarterback. I'm good on tight end. I'm looking at running back receivers here. I've got 3 picks left. So, I like to take upside at this point. I'm not looking at safe guys. I don't care about safety in the late rounds. Mm-hmm. I want guys where I can find some gold, man. Running backs, Damian Harris is very interesting. I'm surprised he's dropped this low. That's a lot of value for that guy. Even Elijah Mitchell, I could consider here. I do have Christian McCaffrey. Anything happens with CMC, which we know it does. Elijah Mitchell could really, really pop off. That I just want to make sure I don't want to do that. Let's see what else is on the board. But that's something I'm really leaning towards here. As far as receivers, Alan Lazard, Odell Beckham, fuck off. Jacoby Myers, Adam Thielen. See, these guys, these are kind of safe veterans that I just don't see a lot of upside for, and at the end of the draft, that's not what I'm looking for. I want to see some serious upside here. Sky Moore could be an opportunity for some upside. Yeah, Mingo out of Carolina, Jonathan Mingo out of Carolina. That's pretty interesting. You know what, though, at this point, after running through it and thinking out loud, I'm doing the Elijah Mitchell thing. I want safety in that run game, having that comfort and cozy blanket, knowing that if something does happen with CMC, my first pick, I've got the backup. And this guy is explosive as hell when he's on the field. I'm taking Elijah Mitchell.
Love it.
And again, that's a roster construction decision.
Yes.
That's why I'm doing that. You know, Damian Harris went. That's great value. 10th round, Damian Harris, guys, take him all day long. You know, he's going to be a bruising running back for the Buffalo Bills. He's going to see a lot of PT. Take Damian Harris before the 10th round. That's beautiful. Daniel Jones, Alan Lazard, Odell Beckham. I'm back on the clock. All right. At this point now, I am looking for a home run hitter. I don't care how far down the list I'm going on this list of receivers. This is based on ADP. This is based on guys. Who knows if they know what they're talking about? I'm looking deep here because I want to get me some rookie action and find me somebody that can give me a very, very high ceiling if possible. You know what? I'm going to go with a guy that, you know what? I am going to go with Jonathan Mingo.
Okay.
I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to see what he can do in Carolina. That whole team is brand new. You got a rookie quarterback coming in with a rookie receiver. I'm going to hope there's some connection there, but let's see if we can strike gold here. Jonathan Mingo is my pick. Chicken Conquo went Adam Thielen, Jerick McKinnon, Jacoby Myers, and Greg Dulcich. Frankie, you're on the clock. You still need a quarterback, and you've got 2 picks. What are you doing here, bud?
Yeah, man, I'm going to wait for quarterback because, again, these guys, every single one already took a quarterback. I'm not tripping out. So now I'm going to go for one of the high flyers, and there's one guy on here that I absolutely love. He's part of the rookies. He's in a beautiful situation. It is Rashee Rice out of Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball. I want a piece. I just want a piece. That's all I want. I'm locking in.
You know,
baby.
That was the guy I was deciding about between Mingo and Rashee Rice. Yeah, you put a rookie burner, on the field with Patrick Mahomes, you got to give it a shot. You got to see what happens, man. Yeah. All right. So right after Rashee Rice, Tyler Algier, Dalton Kincaid, Geno Smith, Tyler Higbee, Kendre Miller, and Darnell Mooney. A bunch of those rookies we talked about last week, man, are on that list there. I bet you were thinking about Dalton Kincaid for one of your picks here. I know it. I know it. You took Cole Kmet, which, it could be good. It could be solid, but it doesn't excite you. Dalton Kincaid as a backup just to see. Rookie tight ends never really do it, but who knows, man. You did comp him to Travis Kelce. So
I did. And I think he can be that. Now, John, with this last pick, guys, again, just to review the team, I have Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Calvin Ridley, Mike Williams, Cole Kmet, Jahmyr Gibbs, Dalvin Cook, George Pickens, Quentin Johnston, Khalil Herbert, Rashee Rice. I am missing one piece, and I'm going to go for this guy. This is why I waited, because I think that there is still so much value left at this position for this guy with a new coach. He has all the opportunity in the world. It is Russell Wilson in the last round pick. I think there's massive value there, John.
I like it, buddy. I like it a lot, man. Yeah, he's going to be. Listen, I shit on him all year last year, and you know what? Deservingly so. I'm sorry.
Deservingly so.
That team was an absolute dumpster fire. It was terrible. What a shit show. But you know what? I think he's being slept on. I think he is going to have a big turnaround year. Yeah. I mean, Sean Payton's there. I mean, come on, man. Really? Yeah. He's going to be fine. I think you're going to see him have a big comeback. All right. After that, you had Sky Moore, who probably was going to be my pick. I want a little piece of that Kansas City offense too. Devin Singletary, Kyler Murray, Zeke, who's not on a team right now. That's kind of a wasted pick. He's not going to do shit. And Tyler Boyd. Okay, this is my last pick. I could do anything I want here. I was looking at quarterbacks. Is there something maybe I could find some lightning in a bottle just, for a bye week or just to back up Herbert in case there's an injury? Bryce Young, to pair up with Mingo, but, that's not going to give me what I need. It's kind of boring after that. Jordan Love, Derek Carr, Stafford, Stroud. Nobody really gets me excited to where I say there could be lightning in a bottle. Running backs. Maybe Mostert, Jalen Warren potentially to back up Najee. I don't want to load up my bench with too many handcuffs either. That's the other issue there. I've already got some of that, and I don't want to be sitting on too many guys. I'm too active. I like the waiver wire to make trades. Looking at receivers here, very interesting. I'm going to try to find somebody that could be just absolutely electric. It's difficult, man. It's really difficult here. Yeah. I mean, when you get down here, just trying to find somebody that could be crazy. You know what? I said I wanted a piece of that Kansas City offense, and I do. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm scrolling way down, and listen, you saw flashes of this guy down the field, and I know Patrick Mahomes is going to try to hit him again. I'm going to take the chance that maybe they do have a better connection with Juju gone out of there. I'm going to take MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I don't absolutely love him, but I think he's safe, and I think he also has upside. I think he can. Touchdowns are not a sticky stat. You cannot predict those very well. But if he can get over that mark with touchdowns, it could be a guy that I could be plugging in, during bye weeks or injury concerns. So I'm going with MVS. All right, Frankie, why don't you review your team? That is the end of the draft. I think we did pretty well here. You took a very interesting strategy of just going hard and heavy on running back, and then you went nuts on receiver as well. You waited till your very last pick for a running back, third to last pick for your tight end. So break it down here. Let's give us your team in order of what you're starting here and tell us how you feel.
Yeah, guys. So my starters right now are Russell Wilson, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry. It'll be Calvin Ridley, Mike Williams. And then my flexes, or my flex, because we have one flex option, is that of Jahmyr Gibbs. And then I also have Cole Kmet as my tight end. So guys, for me, I wanted to actually show you what it would be like if you truly went crazy in a half PPR for that of running back. Again, if you're super active, I love this team. I love this team, actually. I do agree with you, John. Looking back at that Mike Williams pick, I think I would have liked to have gone that of Trevor Lawrence there. That way I had the stack, and then came back to end up getting another receiver at that point. But what was interesting, guys, when looking at it, I knew that that was the case. I didn't go that route, so I wanted to make sure getting that Quentin Johnston pick to make sure I shored that position up for sure. And so for me, I'm looking at this, as long as you're active, this might be one of my favorite drafts that I've done because there's so much opportunity here. For those who know or may not know, John and I, we'll draft a team, and by the end of it, you might have one guy that was on your starting original drafted team. So by the end of the season, usually how my mind goes when I'm drafting. But again, don't go this route by any means. If you're like, hey, I kind of want to just have a more traditional route. I don't want to be super active in trades or be like, kind of hounding the waiver wire as much. Go with something a little more simpler. But John, for the way we are from an active standpoint, this really is pretty cool. Got Dalvin Cook in the 5th. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And what's interesting, I'm looking at it. I do agree. I think your team would have looked a lot better to me with Trevor Lawrence, having that Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence stack. And then you may have still been able to get Dalvin Cook on that turn on the comeback. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, that's why we do this. So you can look back and say, okay, this would have made me feel a lot better about my team had I done that. But dude, yeah, this is a team. If you're one of those guys who is very active, this team, man, if you do this in one of our leagues, which I know you will, but this team is going to be so annoying. You're going to be annoying because you're just going to be offering trades constantly, nonstop.
To you, man.
To me. And it's so hard for us to make trades together just because, you can't get a great value from either of us, All right, let's look at my team. Man. Yeah, let's look at my team here. So my quarterback's Justin Herbert. My running back room, I absolutely love with Christian McCaffrey, Najee Harris, Javonte Williams. My receivers, I've got the stack with Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen, which I love in a half PPR. Garrett Wilson, who I'm super high on. Then I've got some upside guys here with some rookies, Zay Flowers, Jonathan Mingo, and MVS as some depth. Also got Rashad Penny and Elijah Mitchell. Rashad Penny for depth and for potential. This could be a guy I could plug in. As long as he's healthy, he could be amazing this year. Top 15 back, potentially. And Elijah Mitchell really is just insurance for Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. I love this team, man. I think Dallas Goedert's my tight end. I think this is an extremely well-balanced team. Yes. There's a great balance of high floor, high ceiling opportunity, roster construction. I've got some backups there. So I've got that running back locked in for the San Francisco 49ers. I've got a beautiful stack. I really almost did every type of strategy for when it comes to balance that you possibly can in fantasy. What do you think about it, man?
I like it, John. I think what this shows, especially for those listening and watching, is if you're on the front end of these drafts and you get the opportunity to get a CMC or, an Austin Eckler, right? You have to be prepared to get to be like, okay with that of Garrett Wilson or maybe Jalen Waddle, or maybe if Devontae Adams falls, which would be a godsend, but Garrett Wilson being your number one, and then being able to piece that together. So for me, John, this is a difficult area, I think, because you're making judgment calls. Like in compared to the back half where I was drafting, I always thought that was more difficult. But the way the front half is so stacked, it's almost like you're getting a bit more value for people in the second part of the draft. So that's pretty interesting. But dude, love where you went with it. I think the key here is the stack of Keenan Allen and Herbert, and then getting Javonte at the end of the sixth. John did not need to waste an early sixth or a late fifth on Javonte. And I think if he comes back to form, man, holy shit. I mean, difference maker.
Yeah, I mean, in this league, my running back room, I'm starting Javonte Williams in my flex.
Yeah.
That's just gorgeous to me. I can make some moves. It's not the best wide receiver room that I was hoping for. Love Garrett Wilson, but I don't necessarily want to roll him out there as my one, Having Keenan Allen, though, drop, I think that's a great value for Keenan Allen in the fourth round.
Love that.
I really do. Yeah. I mean, as long as he stays healthy, I really like how this team shaked out, and I can look at obviously making a trade with you. It wouldn't be with you in this league because you're so heavy in running back. I would also be looking at a receiver. But yeah, the front half of the draft, it is difficult. If you go with McCaffrey or you go with Eckler or Chubb or Bijan, it does make it difficult to come back around and get a receiver, because by the time you get to that, 2, 3, 3, 4 turn, it's tough. There's not a lot of those, tier 1, tier 2 guys. So it is difficult. All right, man. Looks good. I absolutely had a blast doing that. That's our first mock draft of the year. Right. So much fun, man. So much fun. It's great. We're going to be doing this every Monday, guys. Mock draft Monday until draft day, until draft season here. So every couple of weeks, we're going to be throwing one out once a week here. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Send us any comments if you have anything about how you thought our teams, shook out. What could we have done differently? If you got questions, please send them our way. Follow us on social media. Facebook and Instagram at Frankly Fantasy Football. On YouTube, watch the videos. Please subscribe to YouTube at Frankly Fantasy Football, or on Twitter, or is it X now? X? Yeah. On X. X us, I guess. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Yeah. X us on X, Twitter, whatever. Frankly Fantasy app. All right, everybody. Great job. Thank you so much, Frankie. Anything left to say, bud?
Nope. Not here, brother.
All right, stay tuned Wednesday, guys. We got an episode dropping, our top 5 rookie review. It's a big one. Download that one. May the fantasy gods smile upon you.